Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Chantele. And we're here to rank these players from episode 10. Oh my gosh.
Yes, we are. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. And then say hello to Jessica Milagros for joining us today.
Hey, everybody. Hi.
Yay! Well, we haven't gotten your opinion on this season yet, Jess. Give us a slight overview on how you're feeling about this season.
As of this past Wednesday, I was very sad.
Mm-hmm.
A little depressed,
Mm-hmm.
and but slightly overcoming that feeling. It was a lot of, this whole season, it's been just a lot of confusion. It's just like, how does that work? Who has this? Why did this happen? Yeah. And now I'm like, okay, like I think Wednesday, although heartbreaking, it was, I dare say, one of the best episodes of the season. So,
and it was well executed.
Absolutely.
As sad as it is to see someone so good go, you got to give some props to the people who orchestrated that. So I'm excited for the ratings. We definitely, last week when we were recapping the episode, we were like, oh my God, ratings are going to change this week. We're going to give some people some props, I imagine. And some people still no props.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, since I've just been traveling a lot, and actually with the whole Survivor, with everything, I've been to 2 Survivor parties already. So you don't actually watch the Survivor episodes during the party, because it's just like a ton of fans that just, come at you, and you're meeting people and stuff like that. So I've had to rewatch and then rewatch again and then rewatch again. So I haven't really been able to see like what the ratings have been so far. So I'm excited to kind of chat with you ladies and see if what I felt was what everybody else felt.
Yeah. And it changes. Like, we definitely each week have changed. We give people credit some week, and then next week we're so mad at them and their scores drop big time.
Exactly.
But reminder to everyone watching, we are gamers. We go by dice. So 1 is the lowest they can get. 6 is the highest they can get. We have audience input as well. So after we go through individually, we'll include the audience's opinion, and we'll average it out and see what everyone is getting. So Chantele, start us off with Mr. Danny, please.
Okay. We've had some, not on the same page with our thoughts around Danny.
I know.
And it's going to be a little bit hard.
Last week I was shook.
Okay. I actually think that Danny may be in the best position after this week. I didn't see him putting a lot of effort into making things happen. Like, he did try, but they didn't actually go through when he was trying to get the vote to be switched on Ricard, and he kind of started the ball rolling, but it didn't actually, his target didn't actually get out. It actually ended up flipping, and how it all ended, right? So I can't really give him props on trying to make a move, because he didn't actualize what he wanted to happen. But I do think that he is going to be able to sit fine. When Shan was leaving, she seemed to be mad at Deshawn, saying Deshawn was a snake. I feel like when she says, like, really, D, I think she's talking about Danny there. So she might have been hurt by Danny, but I just don't see Erica or Heather or even Ricard going for Danny next. I see maybe Deshawn being the next one on the radar, or maybe Erica being on the radar next, or Xander, of course. Like, I just forgot about Xander. So I think that he might be able to just kind of squeak by, and he might be able to win a couple of those individual immunities. So he's in a good spot, but he hasn't been doing that much, in my opinion, for his game. I'm giving him a 4 this week.
A 4 this week. Okay.
It's a high 4, but it's a 4.
A high 4. Okay, Jess. Your feelings on Danny.
See, okay, here's the thing. Like, when I was looking at Chantele, I'm like, oh, she's gonna score him low, because she kind of like rolled her eyes a little bit. She's like, I think 4 is high. I'm sorry. Okay, look. First of all, I want to preface by saying that I think Danny's amazing. I really
Sure.
like him. I think if I ever met him, he would be a really cool guy. And that's pretty much it. He's the really cool, even-keeled guy. I don't think that there's a lot of strategy behind him. I think that he's a very emotional player. I think that even though it was his idea to, you know, to get rid of Ricard, even though Deshawn somehow tried making it his play. I don't know. Maybe that was editing. Maybe that was, you know, I don't know. It looks like Danny's trying to make moves, but nobody's listening. Therefore, to me, he has very little to zero influence on the tribe, you know, and that's why I can't really give him a 4. I think 4 is still exceptional gameplay with someone with a cast that I might not even give a 6 to, you know, at this point. I might give one person a high 5, but you know, yeah, I think Danny, I agree with Chantele. I don't think anybody's going to look for Danny because he's not a threat, right? He's very low level threat, but that also means he's not really in the mix. He's a number, he's a vote, but that's about it. I don't see him really making.
So how low are you going? What are you giving him?
I'm going to give him an even keeled 3.
3. Okay, that's yeah. I hear you. Actually, it's interesting because last week David came flying in here with a 6 for Danny, and Chantele was like giving Danny more credit than Deshawn last week, and I was the opposite. I was so confused. I think that Danny is obviously a strong individual. He can do comps, and he's not being looked at. This is true. But is that to his credit of gameplay? Earlier, I would have said yes for social game, but now the deeper we get into it, I'm not sure that it is. Another thing David said last week that hit me interestingly was that he compared Danny to Xavier from Big Brother over the summer, of just that, like, I'm riding through, we're going to make everyone happy, we're not rocking the boat. And I'm going to sail to the end. And that may be true, but I didn't give a lot of props to Xavier's gameplay just because he was the even keel guy, like riding along. So therefore, I kind of feel the same with Danny. And also, Danny did not handle, like, sure, he came up with an idea to get Ricard out. Ricard's dangerous. And then he handled it very poorly. He told Liana from the outset. He told Deshawn, like, he told enough people that it circled around and blew up their entire alliance, and he had to turn on an alliance member at the end of the episode. So I feel a little confused on how to rank him, and so I'm also giving him a 3. I actually can't believe I'm doing it, but I went down because I think I've solidly given him a 4 all season. And now I'm not so sure.
And I agree with you, Sarah, on the whole, like as in comparison to Xavier, but where that comparison, I think, stops is that at least Xavier was saying this is what he was doing. I don't think Danny really understands where he is in this. He's not like saying, okay, let me give Deshawn that let him take it so that the heat's off of me. Let me not win this because let me throw this competition so that I'm not being looked at. No, these are just things that are happening. He's not doing these things purposefully, if that makes sense. You know, I'm not hearing in his confessionals that, you know, that he's trying to dumb himself down or make himself less of a threat or do anything like that. We're seeing him trying to make a move and it fail. So yeah.
Adrian, this is a very good question. If someone's being looked at as a target, oftentimes it's because they're amazing. Shan is a great example. Shan was a massive target because she was playing so well. Tiffany was targeted so much earlier than an Xavier because she was playing so well.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. Deshawn is going to be targeted before Danny, I imagine, unless they just can't get Deshawn out. But that doesn't mean Danny is playing a better game, in my opinion. That's just how I'm ranking gameplay, if that makes sense.
I mean, I totally understand both of your guys' points, and I totally feel they're justified, the 3. The reason why I didn't go down as low as a 3 is I do feel as though he has agency in this game. So even though it didn't go his way, he said, let's do this. Deshawn said, yes, we're doing this. They didn't execute it well because they decided to pull Liana in, and that was the fatal mistake. But they still got out somebody that was set up better than both of them were. And so I had to give him a little bit of, a little bit of props here for the fact that people were willing to make that move happen. And when it was flipping back, it wasn't even coming back on him. It was coming back on Deshawn. So something to be said.
Absolutely. Well, the audience gave him a 4, so he is going to average out at a 4, very high 3. We round up to the 4, which is great. I mean, you're right. Danny has a lot of agency. He's in the power seat, and even if he can't get his way or whatever, he's definitely sitting pretty there. So we'll move on to Deshawn then. Jess, start us out with Deshawn.
God.
Deshawn. Okay. Well, I think you all know how I feel about alpha males, and I think that he's very much that. He's very much of an alpha. And so personally, with the interactions that he's had with Shan, I don't necessarily think that he was always in the right in calling her out. I feel like that she has also at least tried to listen to him. I just think that there's just a lot of clash there, but he's very all over the place for me. And sneaky, which is a good thing, I guess, for Big Brother, right? I mean, for Survivor. Sorry. I'm going through that with my therapist. Anyway, so I don't think that a lot of the moves are his. He's also one that can't really land game moves. That could have been because Shan was kind of overpowering him. This episode wasn't that great for him either, because he had really no say in what was happening. It was just something that he would benefit from, but I don't think it would really benefit him. I think it was too early to take out Shannon for that. I think that, I'm also gonna give him I'm gonna give him a higher I'm gonna give him a higher number, but I'm gonna give him a 4. And this and just basically because I don't see I don't see it yet. I don't see him. He doesn't have anybody except for Danny right now. I don't think that he's made really good connections. And I know people were talking about his social game, but at this point, I think Danny has a better social game than him. I don't think that, he's definitely the next, if anything, the next target. Like he's the next hit if it's not Ricard. But even at this point, I think Ricard has probably better working relationships than Deshawn right now. He just pissed off Liana. I mean, Danny's probably the only person he has, and I don't think that any of the others are find him trustworthy. So, sorry.
Well, that is interesting, because that's like almost the opposite of how I feel about him. I'm giving him a 5. I think he's playing really darn good. I think the fact that we're seeing edits where he's talking to Erica, and Erica feels like she can confide in him, that she wants Shan gone, that means that he's playing these people. last week or the week before, whenever it was that he got Evie out and convinced Xander and Evie, that was when I first was like, oh my God, he's playing these social relationships so well that they're believing the BS he's throwing their way. Yeah, he might not be sitting pretty. He might be a target really soon. He has messed up with Liana, but I feel like he's in with almost everyone else to the point that they don't really know where he stands and they don't know exactly how sneaky he is. I don't know. I'm giving him credit for that.
I don't think the only reason I said that, and I'm sorry, I guess I should have, made it a little bit more clear, but he definitely doesn't have Ricard because you remember that Shan already told him that Deshawn wanted him out. So there's already going to be, a feud there's going to be, kind of like a little battle there. So he doesn't have I don't think he'd have Liana. I don't think he'll have Ricard. I think, I don't know. He's been playing a little messy but I love Messy. I'm not happy with him though,
he's
with
not,
the whole Shan
he's not perfect. And I think that he does have some emotional, like little triggers. And I think that it's possible this Shan vote was emotional, that he got so mad about everything, he got her out. But on the other hand, I don't know that Shan was going to be loyal to him. So it might have been a great move for him. Either way, he made the decision. Ricard got the move going, but Ricard couldn't do it without Deshawn. And Deshawn was the pivotal vote who got Danny on board and they got Shan out. So I have to give him credit for taking out one of the biggest targets there. So that's why I'm going with a 5. Chantele. Wow. Where are we with
you guys are made very compelling points here. And I wrote down one number, but then I'm being convinced to maybe change it to another number. Now with Deshawn, I definitely agree. He's been playing messy. And I think I'm going to have to go with my original thought with him because, yes, I want to give him props for the fact that, like, he was the one that got that move into motion, splitting that vote. Erica knew that she could count on him or potentially count on him to, like, flip over and take out Shan. And so the fact that I agree, like, the fact that people are still coming to him with the plan so that he's able to make, rational decisions is really, really strong. But the fact that Shan left not wanting him to win the game, I think that is really, really bad for his game. Now, I know that he was conflicted. I know that he, it was like, am I doing this for myself or for the culture? And then new information happens where Liana, spills the bean and it all everything went all pear-shaped. But I think that he made a promise to Shan in that moment that they weren't going to go out after each other. And so for him to now just go after her like immediately and take her out, I think that she feels like he used the culture to like get her on side and kind of disarm her. And I think that that's what's hurting her more so than being taken out. So I think that he didn't do it in a way that made her like how she's like, I want to vote for you, Ricard. And even though he was the one that put that plan into motion, she doesn't feel that same way about Deshawn because they had a different kind of understanding of why they're playing this game together and why they weren't going after each other. So because I think that was a colossal error, but I still think that he has a lot of agency in this game, I'm going to give him a 4. But I was tempted to give him a 5, but he has to go back down.
Ooh.
Tempted.
I partially tempted you.
You partially tempted me.
Very excited.
You made good points, Sarah. I was like, well, yeah, but no.
I was tempted.
I love it.
Oh,
that's a good.
Well, the audience also gave him a 4, so he is going to average out at a 4, same as Danny. That makes sense. Absolutely. Okay, next is Erica. And I see a lot of people talking about Erica in the chat, and I'm happy to start her off and say that I am excited to give Erica a 5. We are moving up in the world, Erica. I have wanted to rank you high. One week I ranked you kind of high on possible potential, and then I was like, oh no, she's not doing anything. Even when she says things, she doesn't have enough agency to make it happen. But I think that she said Shan enough that it helped push Ricard. And then she came in with the pivotal, you're not falling back on me as plan B. I'm not going out if she plays an idol. We're going to split this vote. And I don't know how Erica got anyone to put votes on Liana, but she did it. And she got that vote split. And I give her massive props for that. So she is up to a 5 in my world.
Chantele. So Erica, fellow
Erica.
Canadian, Ontario born. I heard that she was down the distillery district, which is right around the corner from my place. You know, I'm happy that she's actually showing up on the screen, you know, like we were just kind of before, like, oh, they want to get her out. Why? Who cares? Like, she hasn't been doing anything. And then she has like this, you know, break the hourglass. And so like, but then she didn't really do anything. And so we're kind of been waiting of like, okay, when is she going to emerge? And I have to say, like, I'm very happy with what she's doing. She does seem to be able to get plans executed and it's staying off of her. I know she won immunity the time before. And now this time she was able to be like, hey, I don't want this split vote to be anywhere near me. I really thought that when she said, like, we have to split this vote, that the whole plan was going to go up in the air. And the fact that it didn't, and everybody played their role, they said what they needed to say, they voted the way that they said they were going to vote. I think that was very impressive and very surprising. So I think I'm going to give her even. Oh, am I going to do it? I'm going to give her more.
Are you going to do it?
I'm going to give her more props. I think that she pretty much allowed for Ricard's plan to go through. I don't think that it would have happened without Erica even wanting to maybe split that vote. Like, I just don't know if it would have gone down as seamlessly. I think that her relationship with with Deshawn helped them get that plan into motion. And she's still from original Luvu. So there's still 4 of them. And I can easily see Deshawn and Danny just being like, we just have to stay Luvu strong and we're the final 4. Like, let's just do that. And I can see them jumping on that, being like, yeah, well, let's get Ricard out. Let's get Xander out. They're both going to be harder for us to beat in the end. So let's do that. So I think she's in a better position than she has been in the game, and she's been making moves. So I'm going to give it to Erica. I'm going to give her a 6 this episode.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that.
She did a good job.
Was not expecting that.
I was not expecting that. That's really cool.
Jess, are you also giving her a 6?
I am not. But I agree. I definitely agree with all your points, Sarah and Chantele. I agree wholeheartedly. One of the things that I love seeing about Erica is literally her growth in the game. You know, and even her relationships, you know, from being at the very bottom, you know, and picked to just changing the whole game and it working to her advantage. I love that she has put those feelers out there, that she has, you know, that she has planted enough seeds to, even at her being at the bottom, has always had people look the other way, to where I think she's in a great position right now where people would not be looking at her. She has a good relationship with Heather. It looks like she has a good enough relationship with Ricard. She's like a good relationship with Deshawn, because Deshawn's not even looking at her to leave. And she was the first person in his mouth where he said that he wanted to get her out. Like, we remember the first or second episode, you know, where she was kind of divulging all this information. I'm like, oh, baby girl, no. And he, you know, and he wants to get her out.
Throw a challenge to get her out. Like, that's
exactly. Like, in the very first couple days, like, this is insane. You know, that's kind of dumb, but you know, it is what it is. You know, and so I think that she has made great strides. I agree. It was very amazing of her to have, you know, said the whole split vote was great. It was great for TV. It was really well thought out. I can't give her a 6, but I am gonna give her a 5.
All right.
And that's so far the highest I've gone so far.
That is the highest you've gone. And so so the audience also gave her a 5. So she is going to average out at a 5. And I mean, I'm just excited that Erica is getting a little bit of props, because I think enough people have wanted to see if she was doing anything. Yeah. Because it seemed like she was having opinions, saying names, but like wasn't getting the backing. And I don't know if she and Ricard are going to continue to work together, but I don't know. Might not be a bad little duo there. I do say so myself. Heather is next. Chantele, I believe you're starting us off for Heather.
Oh boy, what did I write? Okay. Well, Heather's done a good job with at least aligning with Erica. So with that, she does have somebody that it's in their best interest to keep her around. So I think for the fact that she does have her in her corner and for fighting for her and like wants to keep her as a member, I think is really great for her game. We still don't hear a lot from Heather. We don't hear what she's doing. She was shocked that Ricard picked her for the reward. So that means that she doesn't even feel like she did anything to deserve that. So that shows me that she's not really necessarily putting in any social connections with Ricard for it to be like a no-brainer that he would be taking her on this reward. And it just seems to me right now that she's just a number. I can't really see her winning the game. I do see her potentially getting far unless she gets a casualty. She's a casualty of like a split vote or something like that. But she's just middle of the road for me. She's a 3. She's a 3.
A 3.
Is that high? Is that too high?
Oh my God.
She was on the right side of the numbers. She's been on the right side of these votes lately. She's not been voting wrong.
Wait, we're only I apologize if I'm getting this wrong because I guess I'm more voting as an overall because this is my first time doing this with you all. But you all are talking about just based on this episode, right?
Kind of.
Yeah.
A little bit.
We do it every week.
Yeah. So I feel
if you go lower, don't worry. Like I do feel like if I were coming in blind, I would probably have given her a way lower number. But I'm kind of like things are a little bit different with how I've been ranking, just because.
Yeah. So because we don't see a lot of her, and because I mean this episode was really the most I've ever heard her speak. But I honestly think it was the edit to make it seem like she was gonna go, like she was the last 2 times. It's like, okay, let's make you believe that Heather's gonna leave and give her a lot of talking, a lot of confessionals. I'm gonna give her a 2, and I'm still debating whether or not I want to give her a high 2 or a low 2. I don't even think it matters if it's a 2 minus or a 2 plus. But I think she's just there, and like Chantele said, like I don't think that she'll leave soon. I think she might be taken as a goat, but not like a Sandra goat. It's not a Sandra goat. It's a literal like you are just there for a number, and I think people look at her and think that she's a gullible vote, like that. She's just gonna go. She's literally a floater, and maybe a coaster. I don't know. Like she's just really just trying not to get looked at. I mean the episode before that, I think it was just like the stupidest thing that she could have ever done in terms of what she did in getting Tiffany, in getting Tiffany out. So yeah, there's nothing much about her game. I don't even think she's really playing. She's just at the bottom and waiting for somebody to tell her to give her a lifeline. Yeah, I don't think she's really trying to create strategy or do anything. She's just kind of there, unfortunately.
I'm gonna just keep this train going and go through to 1.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect. Mine averages at a 2. That works for me. Because I do feel I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're right. It is a bit high, this 3, but yes, go. Let me hear this 1. Oh,
look, I don't like Heather. Seems like the mom we all want. Yes, I think that she's got some decent social skills, and yes, odds are high that she is going to be dragged to the end, but I don't give you dice for being dragged to the end. That is not your gameplay. I don't think she would have the agency to win anything if she were taken to the end. I think Deshawn wants to keep her and sit next to her, possibly. I think Erica does want to work with her, whether that's to sit next to her. I think Ricard has considered taking Heather to the end to work with her. So she might be protected a little bit, or she might be an easy vote if they can't figure something out and she goes. I appreciate that she has opinions, and she did want to get Shan out. She wanted to get, was it? Oh, it was Sydney in the early days. She wanted to target Sydney, but again, nobody was listening to her. It doesn't matter if you stand up in tribal and try to get something started. It's just not working. So unfortunately, Heather is just a number for now. And so, yeah, I gave her 1, but some people rank her very high every week. And so she does average out higher from the audience. Some people love her. She averages out from a 3 from the audience. So but still she goes down to a 2.
Okay.
Overall,
from everybody.
This is a very interesting. I always thought about like why she isn't getting that edit, like what is she doing or not doing that is not getting her any airtime. And I think I saw it in the comments, but I've also heard it from some people that I cannot say.
Oh yeah, in real life.
I have little insight kind of. Yeah, she said a lot of things that would probably not be appropriate to
make the edit
to the new woke CBS. You know what I mean? So I think that they're purposely maybe.
Oh, so they're cutting her out.
They're cutting her out because they're just trying to make her disappear versus giving her a horrid edit, and getting more slack from it. I mean, these are my assumptions. I'm assuming everybody, do not take what I say to heart. I mean, it's just another opinion. So, because I mean, obviously you don't want that type of problematic, I'm not saying that she is. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean the hints have started to circulate.
Yeah, but other people are. I see in the comments that people are associating. Past members are associating her with not very positive words,
right?
And so therefore you have to kind of assume otherwise. But in the same case, then that just makes the public love her because they're thinking she's the robbed queen of editing, right? So it's almost like a glorious edit because they were like, you were robbed queen of your edit, and we knew that you were thinking about all these things and wanting to do so much when she was probably just.
I know, like people need to understand that for the most part, you're edited pretty. I mean, from here to there, like a little slight with editing. But if they're not in the edit, there is a reason. I mean, it doesn't have to be like they're a negative person, but like they're not doing anything, maybe.
Yeah.
The one thing that's frustrating though, just like with hearing all, how she actually was on the island, I think, I understand that, CBS maybe doesn't want to show it and showcase it, whatever. So they're just going to maybe cut her out just so that they don't have to deal with any backlash of handling it inappropriately. But I think that that's also handling it inappropriately. I do feel as though as an audience member to us understand the people that we're seeing. One of the reasons why I like reality TV is because we're seeing usually real people put in extraordinary circumstances and seeing how they react and how they play out. And so, yes, it's unfortunate that not everybody has, the same beliefs, values coming from the same backgrounds. And sometimes that comes out and it's maybe doesn't put them in a good light, but they're also kind of choosing to have their real selves being displayed on a TV show. And so I do wish that we were able to make our own judgments as to like how we feel about this person instead of it just being cut out and we're just like putting the pieces back together and being like, why didn't they show this? They do it all the time on the Challenge, and I think it's because MTV and Viacom merged, which is CBS, and so I think that this is kind of like the CBS way of handling inappropriate maybe language or anything that has any racial undertones. They just cut the people out of the season. You're just like, well, why? What did they do? What happened? And they just don't even allow us to be able to understand fully what went down. So I feel like it's actually doing more harm because I would like to understand. I would like to understand more than be like, oh, she's getting a purple edit because like she hasn't been doing. I want to understand what happened, what was going on dynamically on the island with these people.
Yeah, I think that I agree with you. I think that's one of the main reasons. Like I don't understand why Survivor is just 1 hour, one day of the week. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I mean, you as a Big Brother watcher, as a Big Brother player, it's like I know that in 24 hours, there's so much that is talked about and seen and played with, and people complain about just seeing 2 cameras, and not being able to see all the other rooms. And then you see the edit, and in 3 days, they can't edit what people saw on live feeds. Could you just imagine Survivor? There's just so many different things. Like when if I talk to people from previous seasons and they go through their experience of why they felt this, I'm like, I didn't see that in the show. And they're like, yeah, no, it's impossible for you to see things like this in the show, you know? And it's amazing, but I agree they should, but that would mean that they would need like a 3 Survivor on 3 days a week.
Well, they do need that. But yeah.
I'd watch it. So
I would too. I totally would. I'm mad that it's only 1 hour. Give us at least 2 hours on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
I don't know, because this is kind of BS right now.
Agreed. Absolutely. All right. Liana is up next. Jess, you are starting us with Liana.
Sorry.
I wanted to stay on a good note. Okay, I want to preface by saying that I really do like Liana. I really like her as a person, and I think that I would get along with her very well in real life.
It's okay.
I'm gonna give her a 1.
Woo!
I'm so sorry. And Leah, it has nothing personal, very, very nothing personal. I think the downfall of absolutely everything kind of lies on her and her mistake of what she did. I think that it was premature of her to tell Shan this before anybody knew. Usually you kind of just know, hey, like we haven't played for immunity yet. Let's not really say anything that you might get too carried away. And she got too carried away. Not only that, but I also feel like she's an emotional player. And while I am an emotional person, I don't necessarily consider myself an emotional player, but I do understand that with emotions come a lot of she's holding a lot of grudges, and I think that it's making it near impossible for her to be fluid in the game of where that she needs to create. She constantly needs to be able to move through, and she's not doing that gracefully. We saw a really bad edit of her this past week, against Xander, kind of just showing again that she can't stand his face and she can't stand to look at him. Maybe she kind of has like a 3rd grade crush on him. I'm not sure, but I don't know if anybody saw the lost, not the lost episode, but the little episode clip of trying to find that the secret scene for the idols. Yeah, it's like I don't think she's playing it right. She's overly confident in things that I think that because she was a part of a bigger alliance and was basically doing what Shan was telling her to do. I don't see any type of gameplay from her right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I'm not going as low as a 1. I'm going to give her a 2. I had such high hopes for her because she does seem like a really cool chick. And I think that she was a great, I don't want to use the word minion because that has a negative overtone to it, but she's a great number 2, right? She's a great follower. Like she was really good when she worked with Evie on the original Tribe. Like having Evie lead the way, Liana was like, yes. And then she hooked up with Shan and Shan could lead the way. And Liana was like, yes, okay. Like she's not great coming up with the strategy herself. I think she got in her head a little too much, and she was like, I'm gonna make a party moves, and then they went astray. I get why she told Shan, and I support that she told Shan. I think that their relationship was bigger than this game, but the whole thing happening before immunity was so bad on Danny, Deshawn, and Liana's part. Like, all of them screwed that pooch. And then, now she's left out of this vote completely. That went against her number one ally, against her alliance as a whole. She was the plan B. She got votes put on her. I mean, this was not a good episode for her. I'd love to see her just get straight pissed and do some bold moves coming forward. But unfortunately, I don't have a lot of faith in her strategic planning. So a 2 from me. Chantele?
Oh boy. Liana.
I know.
I mean, I want to give her for her eagerness of being a great player and her desire of wanting to be up there with the greats. I think that that's honorable, and like, I would be so excited if what she wanted for herself was actualized in the game that she was playing. But unfortunately, it seems like all the moves she's making are not good for her game. Like, everything she does, it puts her in a worse position in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't really reward that. As much as I like her as a person, we're giving rankings for gameplay and how well we think that they're going to do in the game, and whether we think that they could potentially win this game. And at this point, I feel like it's more likely for Heather to go further in this game than Liana. And because of that, I have to give her a 1. I'm sorry, Jelly Donut. I'm sorry, but I have to give her a 1. I just don't see, from what I've seen of her gameplay up until now, that she is going to be able to regroup and pivot and really be able to make some real strides in this game. We see in a clip from the next episode her yelling at Danny and Deshawn, which I get it. I'd be pissed too. I'm the other vote. You didn't tell me that you're voting out my closest ally. We're supposed to stick together for the 4. Absolutely. She has every right to be pissed. But in games like Survivor, these social strategy games, you gotta pick and choose when you start yelling at people, because if you're not easy to get along with, if they can't count on you for voting with you, if they think that you're mad at them, it gives them a perfect opportunity to be like, hey, she hates me now anyways, we might as well take her out. So I just don't see her putting herself in a better position moving forward, which means that she will easily be the split vote for multiple occasions, and she'll probably go out by Xander's idol. Like, that's probably what's going to happen. It just would be the karma of her and Xander battle. I do feel like she's going to be the casualty from Xander's idol play.
That's very, very possible. I mean, there are plenty of people she could team up with to get Danny and Deshawn out. But we will see if that happens. Liana got a 2 from the audience, so we're all in basically the same ballpark there. So she is going to average out to a high 1, rounding up to a 2. So, not great, Liana. Yeah, sorry about that. But we can move on to Ricard, you guys, because I'm going to start us off by saying I knew I liked Ricard, but now it is official. I think he is so dang good at this game. He gets my one and only 6 this week. I gave everyone involved in getting Shan out a 5. I feel like Ricard obviously gets credit, but Erica gets credit, and I gave Deshawn a little bit of credit there. But Ricard won immunity and he won reward. Like, overall, really good episode. He knew that he needed to get Shan out before she got him out. Might have been too soon, but I don't care, because Shan was a really strong player in this game. That's a target that makes sense to me. So he gets a 6 from me this week. Chantele?
I am with you, girl. I also gave Ricard a 6. With this episode in general, a lot of us are saying, including myself, that this was one of the best, or if not the best episode of the season. And it was because, for me, it was pure gameplay, right? Like, it was all the strategy. It was like relationships with people. We're seeing it all play out. And I know it wasn't the result that we ended up wanting, but he used the information that he was getting from his closest ally, Shan, to realize that this might be the only opportunity that I get to be able to maybe take her out. And she's getting more information from other people. I could have been the target if I didn't win immunity. And so having all this information, the fact that he has the balls, like that's so like I have to give him credit for turning on your best friend. I know they were saying it a whole bunch of times this episode, being like, I know we have to do it sometimes. We have to do it sometimes. But usually it doesn't happen. That time doesn't usually come. They never cut their, showmans at final 3. Like, it doesn't usually happen. And so the fact that he cut his showmans at final 8, like, oh, that's I have to give him respect for that. And so he's getting a 6. I'm very proud to give him a 6. I think he's doing great. I think that he is capable of picking up numbers and moving forward. If he wants Deshawn to be out next, I think that he could get that to be the plan. I just have faith in him, and I also have faith in him winning immunity. So I see him getting to the end, and I have to give him props for this move this episode, because I wouldn't have had the guts, I don't think, to do it.
Ooh, yes, absolutely. Jess.
Okay.
Do you agree?
I want to start by saying that I'm not very happy with him taking out Shan.
Right.
This early on, I had a little tear in my eye, because I was somehow in this Shannon. I was a Shan Ricard stan. And I loved them together. I thought 100%. They were probably going to be, if not in the final 2 seats, they were going to be final 4. That it was going to happen. So I was not expecting this. So I'm a little bitter. But I do not vote that way. I do understand that it made a lot of sense. Shan was kind of playing at a point where I could see that he understood that it was always going to be Shan's world if she was not to be taken out. And I think this gives him a good, clear reign of just of him being able to actually play the game and connect with people on different levels versus it being heard from through Shan, kind of like Shan being, because Shan was the person who probably kept everything together in a sense. And now there's a little bit more free reign. I think that he's a physical threat. I think that he's a mental threat. I think that I'm very surprised that he has dismissed over people, that they're not really like checking on him, except for Danny, obviously was really looking at him hard. I think Danny's really one of the only people that kind of sees it. But I'm going to have to give him a 6. I think that his gameplay was absolutely phenomenal this week. Nobody was really expecting it. I think that the fact that he, even though it was, I think maybe, I don't know, is it a little bit too early? We'll see if he goes out next week. But I think he's in a good place. And he has like this gift of gap. He also is really good at planting seeds. And I honestly think that if it's not against Deshawn, he could definitely throw something in the mix where people will start looking more at Xander, because he is now the only person with an idol, and
he's taking out the idols.
And
absolutely.
And that just makes the most sense right now. You don't really want to go too far, with someone who has an idol. So
yeah. So interesting that we all ranked so high. I also meant to say that I really enjoy the way that Ricard uses information. He's been lucky enough to receive information, but he gives it out to specific people at the right time. The way that he kind of told Xander, like, they're gonna not tell you so that you use your idol, that you're scared. Like, he gave Xander that information. He gave obviously Deshawn huge information, but we've seen him do that quite a few times, and I appreciate when someone understands the power that information can give. The audience, it averaged out to a 5, but it almost was a 6. It was a 5.4. So it almost rounded up to a 6. And so their 5 plus all of our 6s is going to average out to a 6. And that hasn't happened in weeks. And for the record, it was Shan when it did happen a few weeks ago.
Yeah. And I will try to say, I want to say that I honestly think that them taking out Shan was really more too soon for the camp out than it was for Ricard. You know, this is going to affect them way more than it's going to affect Ricard.
I agree.
You know, they're going to, now that trust is now broken, that is going to be a little bit of a messy situation. And I think that Ricard like moves very well in mess, and he's very comfortable with mess. So I'm excited to see him play this because I think he's an amazing player to watch. I enjoy him.
Now, he may be a target soon. I mean, Shan giving him credit for getting her out in front of everybody at Tribal is a lovely compliment, but it's also putting a massive target on him. So he may not make it to the end, but I was really hoping that he and Shan were going to be final 2. I think that would have been so beautiful.
I was sad for that story, but I understand people wanting to win, like people wanting to play the game with giving them the best opportunity for them to win. And as much as I wanted them to go to the end, because they kept on telling us that they were going to go against each other, so we've all been waiting for that to happen.
Yeah,
it was never meant to be them being final 2 or 3 or whatever.
Right. Well, our last one up is Xander. Chantele, how are you feeling about him these days?
I don't know. I can't. Like, he's also someone that's really hard to rank because it seems like nobody really is worried about him, even though he has the idol, but he hasn't been playing the idol, so he hasn't been feeling scared. So I guess I have to respect that he's reading his castmates or the other castaways quite well to know that like haven't been targeting him. So I guess I have to give him a little bit of, props for that. But I'm just not seeing that much for him. He has that extra vote. He has the idol. I think I was saying this a couple of weeks ago. Like, I want him to be doing something with it so he can gain those numbers. I didn't think that he should have let Evie go and should have maybe used an idol or something to ensure that Evie stayed and take out Liana, because Liana was not working with him. Right. And I just think that he's coasted by. I don't think that and people are just like, oh, I don't want to target him yet because of the idol. So we'll target him later. So I don't think he's playing that great of a game, is my point. So I'm giving him also a 3. He's going to be a 3 buddy with Heather, him and Heather. He's a little bit higher, I'd say, than Heather. Absolutely. Just because he does have those 2 advantages, but I just don't see people giving him the win. I feel like I heard in some after press of Evie and Tiffany that they both weren't very plussed about his game and how, their interactions and stuff like that when on their exit days. And so I just don't know if he's going to get the votes, even if he does get to the end. So yeah, I'm giving him a 3. He's middle of the road for me.
Okay. All right. Jess?
Jess coming in with the truth. The realness.
What is truth? Your truth, my truth, the middle of the truth. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. I totally see where you're coming from, Chantele, because I do see that a lot for him too. He is a little bit of a wild card, and I don't really understand what he's trying to do, but it's really interesting that he does not either he's really good or he loves to gamble, or I don't know why he feels he has felt so comfortable in not using these, the idol in so many situations, he's just I'm gonna give him a 4, but it's not a very high 4. I want to say and the only reason I'm giving him a 4 is because had that secret scene not been shown, I probably would have given him a 3. But I do think there's something that we're not seeing that that is giving him this confidence, right? And the scene with Liana and the search for the idol, the fact that he went out and searched more, the fact that he eggs Liana on by telling Shan on her, you know, and kind of throwing that, you know, I saw that as gameplay, as like, we're gonna pin this on Shan. We're gonna make Shan look like, you know, like the threat. You know, we're gonna make it seem like she's the one who's calling the shots. I'm gonna point at you. So I think he is doing something,
right?
But he's just he's so chill that I don't know, man. I need to ask him. I'm gonna search for him. He lives in Chicago, so I'm gonna search for him and maybe ask him some questions.
Please,
you know, because I'm like, dude,
Do it.
I need to understand. But you know, he has an idol. Maybe I don't see him. Well, nah. The fact that none of these idols have been used, right? They've all gone out with their idols. I don't know if this is a telltale sign that he's going to be out with an idol in his pocket too, but he also still has his advantage, right?
Yes.
So he's in a good spot. I think as the weeks go by, I mean, he's not really close to anybody. So I'm just trying to I'm trying to pin and see like
his path.
Who he feels his path.
Maybe Erica, maybe Danny. Those are the only two people I've really seen him connect with.
It just feels very like, you know, surfer boy, I'm going with the waves, and just kind of like, you know, yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm giving him a 4. I last week gave him a 5. He has each week I got like a little more info about him, and he seemed like he was smarter than I was originally giving him credit. I was seeing him try. He was making moves, even if he wasn't 100% getting his way or even had the numbers to back him. So I was giving him a little bit more credit for his gameplay. So I am knocking him down a smidge to a 4, but I can't knock him down too low because I still think he is a decent player.
Yeah.
He just has been sort of trying to navigate out of this weird spot, right? So he's not getting to make moves right now, but I do think he is putting in the work. We have seen him throw a rogue vote, and you know, he makes a little bit of chaos around the camp to deflect and get targets put on other people. And the fact that he has his idol still and his extra vote, I give him props and credit for that. I mean, I think it was Evie who sat after Tribal and was like, Xander's still here with an idol? Like anyone looking at Xander? Like, I got to give him a little bit of credit for that as well. So I think there's more to him. And if he can just get an alliance behind him, he could make some moves. But I think Ricard is going to actually do that instead. That would be my prediction. But yeah, he's in with Danny a little bit. He's in with Deshawn a little bit. I think he's in with people a little bit. And in time that could work out and help him there. So the audience gave him a 4. So he is going to average out at a 4.
I can respect that.
Not bad.
Not bad. Overall, like it's been a very interesting season.
It sure has. I mean, we were concerned about all of these advantages and twisty things that we saw in the beginning. We were like, oh my gosh, but they honestly haven't come in play
except for
too
next
much.
Episode.
Well, I don't know what's happening. What is happening?
Do you want me to say what it is?
Do you know? How much do you know?
I mean, I think I know. I think Jelly Donut had told me what the twist is going to be. So I don't know if it's correct or not, but it would be hearsay. But I did hear it, and it doesn't seem great.
Well, instead of giving hearsay, tell me, do you have a prediction on what you think might happen? Do you think that this might be the twist?
Okay, I think it might be the twist, and I might get it wrong I might misremember what is apparently going to be happening. So this is all allegedly. I don't know 100% for fact. I don't work at CBS. I don't have facts.
Okay.
But apparently they're going to choose whether or not they're going to play for immunity. And if they don't play, they say they sit out. If they do play and win, they get to be immune from the vote. But if they lose, then they have to play a 50-50 coin. And if it's 50, like one side you stay in the game and the other side you are immediately sent out of the game. So I'm not sure what happens if there's multiple people that play, like if there's all the other, I don't know all the other rules, but basically somebody's fate that played for immunity will be determined by a 50-50 coin.
And they would be just automatically gone?
They'd be automatically out. There wouldn't be a vote. It would be a coin that sends them out of the game.
Wouldn't it be amazing if like the 50-50 coin would be like, well, you're automatically out, and then the last person who was out gets to play in the game again? Yes, I love that.
What do you mean, like comes back in? They just get to stay?
Yeah. They go out, come right back.
50-50.
They get voted out.
It's like the person who does the 50-50 coin has a 50% chance to stay, or they automatically leave, and the person who left last comes back into the game. That's what I meant.
So if you choose not to play immunity, is there any negative for that?
I don't fully understand how the people that sit out, how that works. Because maybe if the person ends up like flipping stay in the game, maybe that makes them all eligible for a vote. That's would be my guess if they didn't play. So if I played for immunity, I flipped like that I'm staying in the game, that I think it will go to a vote. And I think that would include the people on the sit-out bench. So it's like, well, that's like what would happen anyways. So it's not, you just didn't get immunity or an opportunity to immunity. So I'd be sitting out, most likely.
Yeah.
That is weird. I mean, you guys know I love a twist and I love torturing these people, but just a flip of a coin just like takes away any actual gain of it. That seems like that doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. I'm hoping it's not that simple of a flip of a coin and you're bye-bye.
I don't understand why all these twists. I really don't. The game in itself is interesting, you know? Yeah. But I mean, I could actually, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, it makes sense if they would have something like that, because finale is in 2 weeks. So, I mean, what are you going to do with 8 players and only 2 episodes left?
7.
7 players and 2 episodes left. You kind of have to have them like 2 or 3 out.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
There's only like 3
episodes.
There's 3 episodes left. Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense. So going the first final finales with 5 people. So
right. I was hoping, because somebody had mentioned this and I liked it from Australia, or similar to the season of Australia, that it was going to be like 3 people win immunity and only those 3 people vote, or something like that, which I'm here for a little twist like that, but not a flip a coin. That's crazy. By the way, I just finished Survivor Australia and I loved it so much, and the winner is one of my all-time favorite players.
Winners? Oh,
like
amazing.
across the board, all the international America, all of it.
Okay, I'll catch up. I'll watch it. I need to have to know
I
what
have,
that means.
Where do you watch it? Where do you watch it on?
Paramount Plus. They have.
They have. So, what season is that?
It just aired this summer. It's Brains versus
first?
Brawn.
Oh, Brains versus Brawn. I was like,
no, it's like season 8 or something like that.
Got it. Okay.
But it's the one that just aired this summer, and everyone was raving about it, and I had to wait till Big Brother was over to catch up on it. But I just finished it this weekend, and such a good season.
All right, I'm gonna get off. Yeah. I'm gonna get off with you, ladies. I'm just gonna put it on while I clean the house. I'm like, yes,
so fun.
It's good. It's really, really good. Okay. Well, Jess, thank you so much for coming on, giving us your opinion. It's so good to see you and hear from you.
Thank you for having me, ladies. Oh, always. I love talking about this. I don't get to do it enough. And I have my own damn podcast and I can't do it. Why?
What's happening?
I
Oh.
don't like doing podcasts by myself. Like I always had to have another person, and this is
Well,
why
I'll always say yes. So if you ever need somebody.
yeah, I just like I can't ever do it by myself. I feel like I'm in the Big Brother house, like talking to like nobody but everybody. You know what I mean? And it's still a little triggering for me. So I always had to have a person.
Yeah, well, ask. We're both available. We do this all the time.
Yay.
So
yeah,
just gotta
we'll
ask.
have to.
That's right.
We'll definitely have to then.
Well, is there anything that you want to promote or tell people about coming up for you?
Well, currently, let's see. Tomorrow we have so I have a podcast. It's called Girl Let's Agree to Disagree. We cover, as of right now, we do Big Brother and Bachelorette. So Tuesday, which is tomorrow, we will be doing a Bachelorette recap. So stay tuned for that. We found us on YouTube. Also, next week, I will be at Hearts of Reality with a ton of other reality show stars. I don't know, what are they called? Reality personalities. We are raising money for Give Kids the World. So if anybody would like to, tomorrow is Giving Tuesday. So if you feel that you would like to give, I still have not met my goal. So I'm looking to meet my goal for the children. And then, then I'll meet all of them in Florida on the 9th, and it'll be nice. And then Survivor finale, I might be in New York for Wendell and Bryce's finale. If not, I heard there's a little shindig over here in Chicago with some other Survivor.
There's one in LA. Can you come to that one?
Oh, you know what? I was actually thinking about that too because of Lauren Ashley back.
Yeah.
And so I know that she's going to be doing that too. And she had asked, she's like, y'all should just come. And I heard that maybe someone from Survivor will be there too, like this season of Survivor.
Yes, that's what I'm hearing. I will be there and David will be there. Not that we're nobody cares that we're gonna be there, but we're gonna be there.
I will say these are all amazing options. I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah. Options. So if you want to come to the LA one, come on over. Chantele, tell us what you're covering right now, Bachelorette. I know.
I'm so jealous that I won't be in LA or New York or Chicago for these parties, because I would totally go. Like, I gotta see, maybe if Shan is here in Toronto and Erica, maybe they're gonna have a party that I can go. And I'm gonna do a little bit of sussing out to see if they're having something here, unless they're not in Canada and they're elsewhere for the finale party.
Yeah, so, Shan's not. Shan.
Oh yeah, she's in Washington. Well, anyways, I don't know her business, but it would be nice if she was throwing a party in Toronto, and then I could be able to go and crash that. But on my channel, Reality Realist with 3 S's. Yes, I'm doing the Bachelorette on Wednesday evenings, doing the challenge live after the episode, and Survivor on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then I hang out with Sarah. Obviously, on Mondays, we do this ranking. And on Fridays, I hang out on Reality Pop, and we talk about the challenge, both All-Stars and the regular season. So.
Wow, busy girl.
This is tame. This is like easy peasy. I was busy in the summer. This is nothing.
Yeah. I'm saving my energy for Celebrity Big Brother and 42 because I think we're gonna be. I'm gonna be recapping Hardcore 42. I just wasn't ready for 41 yet, and Celebrity Big Brother, and those two are gonna be pretty much the go-tos for 2022. So.
Oh yeah, we got a busy New Year. We'll be doing Amazing Race too. I don't know if you.
I'm also debating on whether to do Amazing Race as well.
I highly recommend it. It'll start January 5th though, so it gets you right back into the new year after the holiday. David and I have a weird schedule right now, so we are actually going live in like an hour to talk about Bachelorette from last week because we haven't talked about that yet. And boy, do I have things to say about that. Then obviously he'll be back on Wednesday after the episode of Survivor. So we'll recap that. Ladies, thank you so much. Chat, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys doing the ratings form, giving us your opinions, coming into the chat, giving us your opinions. Really, really appreciate it. And if you're joining later, leave a comment. Let me know how you're ranking the players, how you felt this week, who you think might be going home coming up. And I don't know, this twist. What? Okay. Anyway, let us know. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.